If you're not new here, you may have already seen the YouTube video that I posted about my eczema story time where I gave you a little bit more context about what I went through. If you haven't seen that yet, I will have that linked here for you. I'll let you check that out and I will meet you back here in a second. Welcome back. For those of you that requested a little bit more detail about the things that I did during my healing process and what I implemented or eliminated, this video is for you. It's been a long time coming, but I wanted to give my body all the time to heal and really keep the eczema away, to know whether or not the protocols and practices that I put into play were actually working. If you're new here, hey, I'm Ruchi, and I've had my fair share of eczema struggles, and I'm so happy to be out on the other side. I promise you, if you give yourself the belief, grace, and time needed to heal, you absolutely will get there. I have also shared a bit about my experience on my Instagram and TikTok, which is at Ruchika Kernani. Let's get into it. In case you didn't click away to check out the story time, I had an extremely chronic stress-induced eczema flare from the fall of 2021 almost into the summer of 2022. I went to a ton of professionals and practitioners in different realms for answers in holistic healing, medical and pharmaceutical healing, and I also took a lot of the healing process into my own hands. Knowing myself, my body, and my condition, I felt like there were certain things that I could test the waters with, and thankfully they worked out. I had not come across something like the condition I experienced ever before, both personally as well as externally. I didn't really know where to get the answers, so through digging and trial and error, I found a lot of things that worked really well for my condition. Mind you, I am not a healthcare professional. I have simply had my own struggles that I learned from, and I had a lot of lessons along the way for things that were either prescribed or suggested that just did not work for me. So please take all of my recommendations with a grain of salt and try them out for yourself, but understand that healing is not linear and is not the same for everyone. Some things that worked for me may not work for you, and vice versa. These are simply learnings from my personal healing journey that got me from looking and feeling down in the dumps like this to being completely healed and eczema free for a year and a half. So knowing that the trigger for my atopic dermatitis or eczema was chronic stress, there were a few different areas to target to ensure I could control my stress and keep it as minimal as possible. Before we get any further in the video, I do really want to take the time to double down on the fact that there are no guaranteed timelines, no guaranteed results. You can have that end goal in mind, but you need to remember that along the way, there are going to be lots of good and bad days, lots of ups and downs, ebbs and flows. That is just the way life works. Like I mentioned, my healing process was around 6 to 8 months to even see any consistent results. And even along the way, I had days where I felt like I took steps backwards. So really be easy on yourself. Target that trigger, focus on the root cause of your condition, because you can apply all of these topical treatments, change up your diet, your routine. Even if you apply everything that I have included in this video, if you are not focusing on managing your trigger, nothing else will change. The main thing that I needed to start with was changing up my routine. So I started to eliminate as well as add certain things that I could either do better with or without. One thing was my diet. I've never really been one to eat junk food. I've never had much of an interest in fast food. I generally like fresh, homemade meals, and I don't snack very much either. I don't really have a sweet tooth, and I'm not a fan of processed food, so already my diet was not too much of an issue. However, I did struggle with IBS for a few years prior to. A lot of that did come from chronic stress, and while the IBS struggles died down, my eczema picked up, so I knew that there was a lot that I had to do to focus on my gut. I'd done some research into the AIP diet, or the autoimmune paleo diet, which is an elimination and reintroduction protocol that allows you to really get an idea of what could be triggering or worsening your condition. It focuses a lot on the gut, inflammation, and the microbiome. And if you know anything about autoimmune problems or even things like eczema, you know a lot of it is caused from inflammation. So this diet was a really great way to ensure my insides were being looked after, which would eventually externalize as well. This diet required me to cut out sugar, dairy, alcohol, gluten, and caffeine, amongst many other things, and you can find a lot more information about this, including these specific foods that you should eliminate and what you can still incorporate, as well as a few meal ideas if you feel stuck. I will definitely say at the start, it feels like you can't eat or drink anything. Creating some sort of meal plan that you enjoy, look forward to, and find easy to execute will allow you to feel better about the process. In a matter of a few days, I got pretty adjusted and I actually enjoyed my meals. I made sure I was incorporating things that I actually liked eating, and I found the process to be pretty simple as well because I didn't have to think too much about my meals. They were actually making me feel a lot better energetically and physically. Knowing that this is an elimination and reintroduction diet, you definitely do not want to stop or start anything cold turkey. You want to be gradual with the process and allow your body to adjust along the way. Pay attention to the cues and reactions that your body is giving you to see if you are reacting well or not well to something. I incorporated celery juice and turmeric a lot more into my diet, so I did have celery juice almost daily for about a month, and I kind of fell off after that. It was a really tedious process to make it fresh every morning, especially without a juicer, but I did find it to be a little bit of a ritualistic morning routine, and it was something I looked forward to. It tastes great, but I personally wouldn't recommend buying it from outside. It's always better to make it at home. You know exactly what's going into it, which really should just be the celery, and at the end of the day, you can totally do it in a blender if you're up for the task. I'm not sure if it did too much to improve my condition, which is also why I gave it up, but I did find that it was almost just a little bit more of a healing drink to have. Again, it's a very cooling drink. It helps you feel a lot less inflamed from the inside, and turmeric is also incredible for that. It is huge in Ayurveda because of all of its healing properties. I would make turmeric lattes and matchas with a lot of turmeric just to ensure that I had something to look forward to, especially as someone who loved coffee at the time, and this was a great replacement. It made me feel a lot better. It didn't make me feel like I had an energy crash. Let me just say, the people are right. We need to drink our water. I started incorporating a lot more water into my everyday, and my skin felt so quenched. Oh my God. I have been a very dehydrated girl for far too many years of my life, and in the more recent years, I've definitely found a lot more value in why we say water is key. My skin felt substantially healthier, more elasticized, and just able to heal when there was a proper amount of water in my body. And I fell off for a little bit after I started seeing some healing, and I knew right away that I needed to get back on it because I did feel a lot less energetic. I felt less mental clarity. My body felt weaker. So definitely make sure you are properly hydrated. And it's not a must that you get the highest quality water out there, but it is really important that you are having good quality water. A lot of the time, tap water has a lot of toxins. So I would surely recommend getting a water filter for your home or getting a water bottle with a filtration system. My husband and I are suckers for our Mountain Valley water bottles. They are glass and they have such pure, incredible water. And with even just one, you feel like you're getting the sufficient amount of water. And the last dietary note would be incorporate more beef fats. So whether that is through bone broths or even tallow, that's something that I've started incorporating more recently, but I've found my skin loves it. It sucks it right up. You can actually apply tallow topically. It comes in almost like a balm and it feels so great and buttery smooth on the skin. You can find so many great all natural options online, but you can also take this as a supplement. And this goes into my next point, which is supplements. So I started taking quercetin, which is also something that you can incorporate into your diet through pineapples, pineapple juice, and that is definitely something that I did because I love pineapple, the fruit and the juice itself, but especially with how chronic my condition was, I felt like I needed the actual oral supplements to ensure I was getting the right dose. And I also incorporated fish oil and vitamin D a lot more religiously, along with probiotics and just overall multivitamins. I got on my vitamin routine, and let me tell you, that definitely helped me. I have always been really hot and cold with this stuff, but with consistency, you will notice that your body does actually need a lot of vitamins that you may not already be incorporating into your diet. Now let's talk about additions. Like I mentioned in my storytime video, I did focus a lot more on holistic healing. I'm definitely not someone who likes to take a lot of pharmaceutical meds or just like pop over-the-counter pills. I still have them here and they are barely touched. I really only use them at the start of my experience and journey. This was 2021 fall and we are almost in the spring of 2024. I still have 3/4 of this thing here, and mind you, my body was almost fully covered in eczema. So I really started to focus more on holistic healing, which takes a look at the whole being. So the mind, body, and spirit, looks at your condition emotionally, physically, and mentally, and kind of considers everything in the treatment process. I felt like this was a lot more in line with my personal values and how I wanted to handle my situation to avoid any of the potentials for medical side effects. A few things that I did within this, because I did get some questions as to how I started healing holistically, was incorporating exercise again. With the pandemic and just the way my life was, given how stressed I was and how much I had on my plate, I was not giving myself the opportunity to really engage in my outlets. And one of my main outlets all my life has been physical activity, whether it's been through the gym, whether it's been through fun workout classes. A lot of things that I used to do had me on the go all the time, and I found that that was a great way to manage my stress. And knowing that all of that was paused for so long during the pandemic, my body really had all of this pent pent up negative energy that needed to be expelled. The dopamine, the serotonin, and all of those endorphins truly felt so therapeutic. Another thing I started incorporating was sauna sessions and cold plunges. Saunas are incredible for inflammation. If you struggle with any sort of autoimmune disorder or disease, I strongly recommend incorporating a 20-minute sauna session 3 to 4 times a week if possible. Your body will feel amazing. You will find so much mental clarity, and you will also find that overall you are feeling a lot less inflamed and hazy. During the first few sessions, my skin would get red hot. The eczema would be really irritated because of all the sweat, and I did find that during my exercises as well. But your body will acclimate. You are putting yourself in a newer and unfamiliar environment, at least what your body might currently be used to. So it takes a little bit of time to adjust, but you are purging so many toxins from your body that in the long run will be so great for your healing. With regards to the cold plunges, if you put 2 and 2 together, the icy cold water was so cooling and therapeutic for my inflamed, hot skin. It really allowed my skin to feel a lot less swollen, a lot less irritated, and was almost soothing for the itchiness. So like I said, this is something that worked for me and may not work for you, but again, I do recommend trying these out, especially because they're not invasive and overall can do a lot of good for your body. And at the end of the day, if you really focus on the mental and also give yourself some time to adjust, I can assure you that they will help you. And within my space, I got a water softener for my shower and also started using a humidifier and air purifier at night. This helped the air feel a lot cleaner, and the water softener made the water feel a lot less harsh on my skin. If you live in a city or an urban area, you'll find that a lot of the time, especially living in a condo, the water and air quality is not the best. So you definitely want to optimize it as best as possible. Along with the saunas and cold plunges, I also tried to expose myself to healing salts as much as possible. I tried to incorporate natural salt soaks as much as possible, whether that was making a saltwater bath at home or going to an actual body of water that had natural salt water. And I also visited salt caves a couple times to incorporate some halotherapy, which is actually really healing as well. If and when I had open wounds or any sort of weeping eczema, there could be a little bit of irritation at the time. If you do have a similar condition, I would definitely err on the side of caution with this one, but I did find that for the most part, it really helped to soothe my skin, and it almost helped regenerate new skin cells. I actually found that any areas that might have been a little discolored from the irritation and itching started to stabilize some more as well. Speaking of natural bodies of water, the sun was so healing for me as well. So if you are able to sneak away on a little healing vacation, consider it a retreat to heal your eczema. The sun has so many healing powers and can really help your skin regenerate. Mind you, you do want to make sure you are properly protected, so use the sunscreens as needed. Now let's get into some products. So let's talk about skincare first, because that is a huge area of concern, especially when you have any sort of skin sensitivities or are dealing with a condition like eczema. Your skin can be extremely finicky to the ingredients and chemicals that you are exposing it to. So this is a list of products that I tried and experimented with. Mind you, there were a lot of misses that did not make it onto the list, but these were things that I incorporated pretty consistently for that 6 to 8 month period, and I found that they actually helped my skin a lot. I really hope they work for you too. In terms of my body moisturization, first of all, if you don't already moisturize your body, you absolutely need to be doing so. I would really hope that you prioritize that, especially being someone with dry skin. Your skin needs moisture, and sometimes drinking water and genetics are not enough. Moisturizing your body is absolutely key. I personally recommend doing it right out of the shower, and you can always do it a few times throughout the day as well. I definitely do, but moisturizing your body right out of the shower ensures that the moisture gets locked in and your skin feels its best for as much of the day as possible. So one thing that I really like doing is mixing a body lotion and a shower oil. These two by Carrie were two of my favorites. They're really nice and light feeling. You don't feel oily or greasy. I still use them all the time to this day. This is kind of my not so intensive routine, but I would highly recommend incorporating a shower oil that is fragrance free. Another light lotion feeling product is the Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Lotion. This is also a fragrance free option. Tried and true. Again, you do not need to have eczema or an active eczema flare to use this. This is a great everyday cream. I love how light it feels on the skin sucks it up. When I needed a little bit more of an intensive moisturizer though, I did really like the Aveeno Eczema Therapy Itch Relief Balm. That has a little bit more of a balmy, almost like a Vaseline kind of texture, but it works really well for anything that is severely dry. So if you have any patches like that, you would definitely want to use something like this there. It is a little on the greasy side though, so just bear that in mind. Another light option is the Eucerin Complete Repair Moisturizing Cream. It feels so thin yet moisturizing on the skin, and I like that you can layer a few products on top of this. This is also one that I liked to use on my face at times. Again, use your own discretion for the way that you want to incorporate any of my recommendations and suggestions here. And one that I'm sure you've heard people talk about before, whether they have active eczema or not, is the La Roche-Posay Lipikar Balm. This is the AP plus M body moisturizer. So good. This line is really great for anyone that is eczema prone or has sensitive and dry skin. This is also something that I used on my face, and I loved how it felt. It really added a lot of glow and hydration. It made my skin feel as close to normal as possible, and like I said, especially during the time that I was dealing with this flare, which was the fall into the winter and spring, I really needed an intensive moisturizer, and this was not greasy, but it definitely was thick and hydrating. Now on my face, when I wasn't using those body creams, I did have a few products that I liked to go to when it came to cleansers, moisturizers, and even just balms to help any sort of really irritated areas. So of course, we love a good Vaseline. Vaseline is amazing, and I found that it was really good for, you know, moisturizing the lips and certain patches on my face, but it was something that I didn't want to lean on too much just because of the greasy texture. And Borreline is a great product that is similar in feel to Vaseline. It's not a petroleum jelly. It's definitely like a thicker cream, not too greasy feeling, but this is something that I definitely relied on for those really dry areas, especially on my face. It was safe around my eyes and anywhere around my mouth. It has essentially like an Ayurvedic backing, and I loved the way it felt. It smells really nice and healing as well. There's a small business here in Toronto called Look Organics, and there were a couple products that I absolutely loved from their line that actually did a really good job at hydrating my skin. One of them was the Restore. So that is a balm that has a really nice consistency. Again, similar in feel to some of the body creams that I just mentioned, and that was perfect for the face. Under that, I would also use their Bioactive Complex. So that's an oil. You can use that as a cleanser or just a hydrating moisturizer. And I loved and still love pairing oils with moisturizers, like I just mentioned for the body, but I love doing the same for the face, especially when you're feeling like your skin is a little drier. Another moisturizer that I absolutely loved during the time of my flare, and I've continued to love since, is the Glow Recipe Plum Pump Cream. So good, smells amazing. Also has hyaluronic acid in it, which is great for any dry skin. I love how this product made my skin feel. It was so light and thin, but still really added a lot of moisture to my skin. And I will say it also felt nice to buy a product that was not necessarily marketed for eczema. There are so many side struggles of eczema, including feeling alienated and as though you don't really look and feel like everyone else. So it was really nice to go into Sephora and pick up stuff that I would have purchased without my flare. There are a ton of brands on the market now that either have lines dedicated to eczema prone skin or just have a whole product range for drier eczema prone skin. So definitely do your research and try things out like I did. Some products may work better for you than they did for me. I just recommend using clean products to ensure that you're avoiding as many chemicals, and make sure that you simplify your routine as best as possible to avoid, again, exposing your skin to too many harsh irritants. Sorry friends, my camera died, so we're just gonna pick up where we left off. One last thing that I wanna mention when it comes to skincare going into makeup is cleanser. The Lipikar AP Plus Cleanser by La Roche-Posay works really well with their Lipikar line, obviously. Really great hydrating cleanser. It doesn't strip your skin and make it feel extremely dry after. I felt like my skin was properly cleansed, especially on those days that I did wear any makeup, but it wasn't feeling like it was drier than it started. Now when it comes to makeup, again, try and keep things as simple as possible. If you can avoid wearing makeup, definitely do so. Oftentimes, especially if you have irritated skin, you're better off just letting your skin breathe because it allows the irritation to subside a lot quicker. On those good skin days or days that I really wanted to incorporate some makeup, I made sure to use, again, clean products, a simple routine, and anything that allowed my natural skin to shine through. Any products that are cream products are definitely going to be your friend during a time of extreme skin dryness. Merit was a line that I was always reaching for and oftentimes still reach for. Their products are so easy to apply too, so I didn't have to go in with brushes and add all of these extra tools to irritate and aggravate my skin. I was able to just use my fingers, use a small amount of product for a really nice enhanced look. And again, I wouldn't go for this all the time, but in the cases that I did want to wear some makeup, I would go for some Merit. We'll have some things linked down in the description as well. But that is it for the video. That this was a really good all-encompassing look at my healing journey and what I did to really get to the best shape possible as quickly as possible. My skin feels a million times better. It's back to normal. Since my skin flare, I've cut back a lot on caffeine and I barely ever drink alcohol. I didn't drink much to begin with, but now I know that it's definitely something that I don't like, not just from the skin perspective, but just overall how it makes me feel. So I am mindful about my diet, but I don't limit myself, and I find that overall, because I'm incorporating exercise and just a holistic approach approach to my healing and overall wellness, my body, my skin, my mind, my spirit is all a lot happier. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Please be sure to share this with anyone that is struggling with eczema at this point. I'm sending you all of the healing vibes. Again, please be patient with your healing process. Understand that it takes time and grace. Be kind to yourself and allow yourself to have good and bad days. You will get there. Remember, the process is not linear, but it will definitely get better from here. Thanks so much for watching and take care of yourself until I see you guys next time.